Welcome, and thanks for joining me on the Ultimate 180 podcast. If you've ever felt exhausted, overwhelmed, or trapped in your own life, and wish that you could have a complete life makeover, then you're in the perfect place to learn how to pull an Ultimate 180, change your life beyond all expectations. I'm your host, Christina Walker, and today I'm going to share with you an exercise that you can use when you are feeling stuck in the feelings of worry, overwhelm, and even anxiety. How do you move forward in life when you just can't get past your own thoughts? I have a 5-minute exercise that you can use to reduce those exhausting emotions, re engage with the excitement of your potential, and move you forward towards living your life freely. And if you are in any way feeling those energy zapping emotions, then you are not going to want to miss this episode today. So before we dive in, I just want to ask you a quick favor. If this episode at all sparks something inside you, whether it's hope, inspiration, or even a little nudge to think differently, if you will please just take a split second to hit that follow button on your podcast app. It not only helps you stay connected to more life-changing insights, you are also helping this podcast reach more people who may need a little help changing their life too. And if something really speaks to you, or you even experience an aha moment, just screenshot this episode, post and tag me on social with your biggest takeaway, because I would love to hear about it. You never know. You just might be the next featured Ultimate 180 story. So let's get started as we navigate change together, 1 degree at a time. Let's do this. I think we all have times in life where we just can't break out of the exhausting emotions. And sometimes it's fear, anxiety, worry, overwhelm, whatever your flavor is at the moment. And what's worse is when you feel like you're living more in those emotions than those of excitement and enjoyment. That's the worst. And that's why I thought I would share with you today a 5-minute exercise that I use when I just cannot break through those feelings. And the longer you've been in those feelings, the tougher it feels that you can get out of that cycle. So, what if what if you knew that somewhere deep down someone told you that everything you ever wanted, you were going to get? How would that feel? Like everything. Someone walked up to you and they said, "I know your future. And I know that I know your future self, and you are going to get everything you've ever wanted." How would that feel? Be freaking amazing, right? And another way, what if you could feel yourself at the end of reaching all those goals? And what if you could picture yourself and feel yourself remembering that you didn't have to worry about how you got there? Kind of interesting, right? That would feel amazing. So, how do we do that? Well, I like to think of it this way. So, and this helps me kind of get in the space of, I wish I had like a fancy name for this technique. I even tried to come up with one. I just don't. It's just one that I do. And it's really about remembering an old movie. And so, if you've seen an old movie that you really liked, like a great movie where someone brings it up and you're like, "Oh my God, I love that movie." And you, of course, know how it ends, right? Of course, you know how it ends because you love the movie. And you might have even forgotten a lot of the stuff in between, but you know how it ends. And so somebody asks you, "Hey, they're having a showing of this movie. Will you come with me to the theater and let's watch it there together?" Yeah, that sounds fun. So you go with this person to the movie and you sit down, and this person has never seen this movie before. So if you look at that person and they are filled with excitement, right? But they're also a little like anxious, like, "Oh gosh, I've heard that this movie was good, but I'm not sure. And now I feel like I've built it up in my head. And Is it going to be scary? I don't even really know what it's about. But everybody keeps telling me how great it is. And now you're sitting here next to this person in the movie theater, and you've been there, done that, right? It's a very different feeling. And you're sitting there going, oh, well, I know how it ends. I'm not going to share that with you, but I know how it ends. And there is this relaxation to it where you can just sit back and enjoy the movie in a different kind of way. And that's how I want you to try and think of this exercise because it's taking your life and thinking, okay, I'm going to pretend that this is a movie. I'm going to pretend that this is an old movie that I love and that I have seen the end. I've seen the end of this movie and I know for a fact it's great. And I know that there was like a bunch of different ways that I to get there and that didn't even matter. The fact is that I had fun getting there. And sure, there were some good times, bad times, whatever, but the majority of the time, it always came back to me knowing that for sure this end was going to happen 100%, just like you're sitting in that movie. And you can think of this in your life, or you can think of this like a project. Let's say there's a project at work and you do not see the vision, or your team does not see the vision, right? If you can get people to think, like, hey guys, I want you to let's think of the end and let's sit for a moment that this is going to happen. Let's all feel that this is going to happen. No matter what, it worked. Now, we might not know everything about what's going to get us there. We think we have a plan, just like in life, right? We think we have a plan of how we're going to get to this retirement or this, $100 million business, whatever it is. We have a plan and things are going to happen and we know it, right? Just like a movie, things are going to swoop in. It's things that are going to be unexpected, but we're going to sit with that feeling that regardless of what happens, it's okay because we're still going to get there. That team is going to be way more engaged in the project than those people that are like, I don't know. No, I don't think this is it. Well, it's kind of, you have a choice, right? And you have a choice in life too, of like, nah, I don't know if that's ever going to happen. That's not very empowering, right? And it's not going to lead you there very quickly. And honestly, it sure as heck isn't going to be fun. Because if you are resisting and resisting and resisting, or those team members are resisting, 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 resistance does not feel fun. So let's bring some excitement and let's bring some fun into any sort of project, and especially the project of your life, right? Let's think of it like that old movie. Do you want to be, you can be the person that's sitting there anticipating, but that person doesn't know how it ends. But I want you to get in the space of, I know how this ends. Because if you don't know how it ends, then that's not really you focusing on the life or the project or the anything that you want to have happen. So we don't want you sitting in that seat. We want you sitting in the seat of, I know, and I can feel it through my entire being that this is happening. It's already happened. It's happened in my future. I can see it. I can feel it. Now, what are we going to do? How are we going to get there? Okay, so first we need to get in our space of that old movie. And you know what? If it helps you to think of an actual old movie that you absolutely love, that you would watch 100 times, but the one that you've kind of forgotten some of the middle, think about that for a minute and think of how that feels. Think of like, you're like, oh God, yeah, I'd love to see that movie again someday, especially with somebody that maybe hasn't seen it, right? Especially if you're leading a team of people who maybe haven't done this before or don't know how to get there. You've got a bunch of people that are filled with excitement. So get in that space, that old movie, right? That great, the best old movie. And then you have to have a little patience, right? You have to have an understanding that I'm going to have some patience because this is not a straight line to the end of the movie, right? Just like a movie, remember, things happen in a movie or they wouldn't be great movies. If the movie was just happy-go-lucky the entire time and nothing really all that exciting happened, that'd be a crap movie, right? Like why bother? But what makes a movie great? There's always something that happens that gets in the way of what you want the ending to be, right? There's going to be people that come in that aren't especially nice or aren't great, or people are going to lose their way somewhere. There's always something that happens that you think, oh no, they're not going to make it. So if you can anticipate this, that, those moments are going to happen, but I am not going to sway from the fact that I already know the ending, right? And you're going to allow yourself the patience to say, you know what? This too shall pass because I already know the ending. And I'm going to sit in the comfort of that, right? So you got the old movie, set yourself up. You're going to make an agreement with yourself that you're going to have patience to weather the storm because an exciting movie that, right, requires that shit goes down, right? It just does. I mean, that's kind of a requirement. Like I said, otherwise, it's not a very exciting movie. And your life is just like that. And I'm not telling you to create drama. We do not want drama, but just to anticipate that things are going to happen. And that's okay because at the end, you're going to have these great stories to tell. And you're going to have a great life to be able to look upon and say, wow, I did that. And I got through that. And you're going to have great stories to tell people, and they're going to love it. And they're going to be inspired by you. And third, here's where the action comes in. After that, you take 5 minutes and you take 5 minutes on one action, any sort of activity at all that will move you forward towards the direction of your future. If there is a call you need to make, an introduction to somebody you've been wanting, a little bit of research, an email, anything, you know that you have got to get that book started. You've got to record that podcast. You've got to ask your boss for a new position or whatever it is, or you have to go just check out a new job, have a conversation, look at the opportunities around you, but take action for 5 minutes. Commit 5 minutes. That's it. 5 minutes a day on anything that will move that needle 1 degree towards your future. That future that you know is going to happen. So, old movie, we're going to get in the feeling, right? We know that great ending, even though we might have forgotten all the little parts along the way, because that's the exciting part. Oh, yeah, that's right. 2, you're going to commit to yourself that you're going to have patience to weather the storms because you know that you're going to get to the other side. And 3, you're going to take daily action for 5 minutes. One activity that moves you closer, moves that needle closer to the person that you want to be in the end. That's it. Just do those activities. And that is going to get you out of feeling all of those stuck feelings. It reignites you. It takes you out of that overwhelm. It takes you out of that anxiety. It takes you out of that stuckness. And it brings you back to be excited about that future in 5 minutes. And that's it. And because we get overwhelmed sometimes because we think, oh God, I am just so far from doing anything that's going to result in my future life that we can really get to a standstill. And so if we can do these little exercises during the day, we can get you unstuck. We can get you out of that anxious and worry feeling because now you're not focused on the worry. You're not focused on the anxiety. You're not focused on the overwhelm and frustration of everything that's going on. You are now feeling comfort that, yeah, all this crap might happen, but I got my eye on the prize again. And I've done one thing today. Congratulations. You've done one thing to move the needle. So you are not behind. You are not behind. You are just weathering the storm for a moment because you got this and you are going to get to the other side. So I want to thank you so much for joining me today. And if this episode spoke to you at all, in any way, if you could just remember to hit that follow button and definitely take a screenshot and give me the biggest takeaway. Tag me on social with your biggest takeaway today. I want to hear what happens when you start using these techniques. And tell me what you want more of. I would love to hear it. If you'd like any more information on how you can use these tips for your Ultimate 180 experience, join my VIP group at ultimate180.com and see what's possible, what's ultimately possible for you. You can always find all my episodes there, as well as Apple, Spotify, and wherever you listen to your shows.